And also, are you able to hear me and see me clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And thank you all for joining in for the fourth day of sharing Jagannath's pastimes. So all of you have been part of this journey where you've listened to so many wonderful, wonderful pastimes of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath of Puri, and yesterday you listened to Lord Jagannath's pastimes from another place that most of you may not have heard of also. Anybody here remembers the name of the place?
Mayapur, Rajapur.
Rajapur Jagannath.
Right. So Rajapur, Jagannath, very close to Mayapur. Okay, it's part of the Navadvipas, one of the 9 islands of Mayapur. So wonderful pastimes that we heard. We're going to talk a little more and try and understand the mood of Jagannath and particularly the Ratha Yatra. We'll try and understand the mood today and also a little about some wonderful devotees. So let's start our journey today. Okay, so we'll do it with some prayers. We begin with some prayers. Give me a second. Okay. So this is our ISKCON Sheshadripuram's Rath Yatra that is going to happen on Sunday. Okay, this is an invitation for everybody so please do make sure that you're there on Sunday. I'm also going to be there, so let's all meet. Beginning with some prayers. Om Jnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladeva Subhadra Mai Ki Jai. Prayers to the lotus feet of Lord Jagannath. Anybody would like to recite this prayer? No one? Okay.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I try?
Hare Krishna. Sure, Mataji. Sure.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Prayers to Lord Jagannath. Neelachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadhrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha. Neelachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadhrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha. Neelachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadhrabhyam Jagannataya Te Namaha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so this is our Lord Jagannath and his mighty brother Baladeva and his wonderful, glorious sister Subhadra Devi. Jagannath Baladeva Subhadra Ki Jai. And this is the wonderful altar and the various deities that we have, Radha Krishna, and we have Lakshmi Narsimhadev. We also have here Giri Govardhan Maharaj. This is a Govardhan Shila. And here, right next to Lord Narsimha, is Vamana Deva. Okay, there is a small deity of Vamana Deva. There is also Lord Parashuram here. And these are the Gauranitai deities. And this is Vrinda Devi Tulasi Maharani. And these are all the previous acharyas, the Shad Goswamis and the previous acharyas, including Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so this is the wonderful altar, and we are paying obeisances to all the deities and praying to them that we may be able to understand the Ratha Yatra and the pastimes of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra in the way that they may want us to understand. Okay, and we may ask for forgiveness from the deities that in our attempt to glorify the Lord, if we make any errors, if we make any mistakes in the way we speak or the way we hear, we beg for forgiveness from their Lordship. Okay. Now, this is Jagannath Ashtakam. Does anybody want to recite Jagannath Ashtakam? Anybody wants to try?
Can I try, Prabhuji?
Yes, sure.
Jai Jagannathashtakam. Kadachit kalindi thata vipina sangita karao mudha bhiri nari vadhana kamala swadhamadupa Rama Shambhu Brahma Marapati Ganesh Archita Pado Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Puje Swaye Venum Shirasi Shiki Pucham Katitate Dukhulam Netrante Sahachara Kataksham Vidadate Sada Srimad Vrindavana Vasati Leela Parichayo Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Mahambodhistire Kanakaruchire Nilashikare Vasan Prasadhanta Sahaja Balabhadre Balina Subhadra Madhyastha Sakala Suraseva Sarado Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Kripa Paravara Sajala Jalada Srini Ruchiro Ramavani Rama Spuradamala Panke Ruhamuka Surendra Shruti Ganashika Gita Charito Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Ratharudho Gachan Pati Milita Bhudeva Patale Stuti Pradurbhavam Pratipadham Upakarmya Sadaya Daya Sindhu Bandhu Sakala Jagatam Sindhu Sutaya Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Parabrahma Pidha Kuvalaya Dalotfulanayano Nivasi Niladrav Nihita Charano Nanta Shirasi Rasanando Radha Sarasavapur Alingana Suko Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Nayaya Chirajam Nachakana Kamanikya Vibhavam Naya Cheham Ramyam Sakala Janakamyam Varavadum Sadha Kale Kale Pramata Patina Gita Charito Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Haratvam Samsaram Drutataram Asaram Surapate Haratvam Papanam Vitatim Aparam Yadavapate Ahodine Nate Nihita Charano Nishchitamidam Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me Jagannathashtakam Punyam Yaha Pate Prayataha Suchi Sarvapapa Vishuddhatma Vishnulokam Sagachati. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadramai Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jaya Jagannath. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Jwalna ji. Thank you so much for singing very nicely. Okay, so let's go on with our session for the day. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the secret of Rath Yatra. All right, so what else is there for us to understand in terms of Rath Yatra? Because everybody here has heard so much about the Rath Yatra and Jagannath's pastimes. And furthermore, is there any secret that we need to know of the Rath Yatra? Okay, because when we say it is a secret, then why are we trying to reveal it now? Okay, if it is a secret, should it at all be revealed or should it not be revealed? Because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says that the knowledge that Krishna is sharing in the Bhagavad Gita is guhyatamam, is the topmost secret. Okay, very confidential. So if something is confidential, then why should we talk about it? Anybody here? I think most of you are all students of Bhagavad Gita, and so I think your teachers also are here. So make your teacher proud and tell me, why is it, if it is a secret, should we at all reveal the secret? Like Krishna says, it's guhyatamam, very confidential in the Bhagavad Gita. So if it is confidential, then why are we conducting classes? Why are we talking about the Bhagavad Gita? Should we not respect what Krishna says and keep it a secret? Why is the Bhagavad Gita being distributed everywhere?
Prabhuji, the Lord is very merciful.
Yes. Sorry, Nitya Mataji, I think you went on mute suddenly. Yeah, you've unmuted now.
Sorry, I was on mute and I was talking. I
Sure.
think the Lord is very merciful, Prabhuji. That is why He's giving us the secretive knowledge, I think.
Yes, yes. Very good. That is one answer for sure. Is there anything
To
else?
give the right direction to the humankind.
To give the right direction, but he's saying it's a secret. So if it's a secret, then
Hare
why
Krishna,
share?
Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, Mataji.
It is actually, a tricky situation. It remains the knowledge. It will remain a secret as long as you have not surrendered. If you have surrendered, God is ready to, shower all His mercy and reveal and take you from darkness to light. So I'm taking it as in that way, Prabhuji. Is that true?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely right. So
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, like the Lord Himself says, He tells Arjuna that you're non-envious of me, so I'm giving you the secret. So, like many times, the father passes the secret to his son, so that like you realize what it is, and you can give it to people who can take it, and others who don't, they will not be able to absorb it. So,
Yeah.
you need to know the path the right path to follow.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Prabhuji, and also the Lord likes His devotees a lot. So I think because of that love, He's giving us secretive knowledge.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for all the participants who've shared. Sorry, did I miss out on someone? Someone else wanted to say something.
Prabhuji, to give us bhakti and to take us back home, back to Godhead.
Correct. Very nice. So your answers are absolutely right, everybody. You've all given different ways of looking at it, and they're absolutely right. So basically, if any of us get a book on some kind of rocket science or something, uh, we have the book, but we may not understand anything about it. Correct? So what is the process of understanding? Krishna explains that also, because any book that we read, it also explains, particularly a complex book, the author also explains how do we understand it in its entirety. So Krishna explains tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So he says you must approach a tattvadarshinaha, someone who has truly understood. Tattva means the truth. Darshinaha, someone who has seen the truth as it is. Tattva Darshinaha. So that is the first step, to approach someone who is a Tattva Darshinaha, who has seen the truth. Someone who is coming in the Guru Parampara. Otherwise, so many people have written and they speak about the Bhagavad Gita today. Anybody who has access to YouTube and all that, anybody will speak, right? So Tattva Darshinaha. First approach a Guru who is a Tattva Darshinaha. Then how do we approach the Guru? Tatvidhi pranipatena. Pranipata means complete surrender. Pranipata. Tatvidhi pranipatena. Then pariprashnena sevaya. Then it's not only what the Guru will say and we're just doing it. Blind following. No blind following here. Pariprashna. You can also ask questions. It should be a conversation between the Guru and the disciple. So it's not sometimes in certain religions or something, they say, hey, you shouldn't ask these questions. So in Sanatana Dharma, there is no such thing as you do not ask such questions. You can certainly ask all kinds of questions. And that is how we make us understanding very strong and firm. We must ask questions, but we must ask questions with humility. Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So when we approach the spiritual master, we must offer sevaya, service. If we don't offer service, if it's only empty scholarly questioning, I'm just reaching out to you, I had some questions. We will not receive answers that way. Our mind will start rebelling. To make the heart a fertile ground for bhakti to develop, we need to have humility. We need to offer services to the Lord. And one such wonderful service is the whole Jagannath Ratha Yatra, right? Like that. So this is the process of understanding. So we must ask questions, we must understand it, and we must do so with a great amount of humility and not with the spirit of challenging. Today I'm going to ask a question that you will not be able to answer or something like that. I'm going to ask a very complicated question like that. I may be speaking here, all of you may be hearing, but in fact, all of us are students here. Okay, I'm also a student, you're also a student, and we're all listening to Krishna speaking. I'm only taking this, you're taking the service of listening about Krishna today. I'm taking the service of repeating what I may have heard and understood from the Bhagavad Gita or from the great acharyas of the past. Okay, so we're all in the mode of service here and we're all wanting to understand. Okay, so let's pray to Jagannath that we may understand Rath Yatra and his mode a little more, as much as we can digest. Okay, Jai Ho. All right, so next slide. Here, this is Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. We must know that no matter which incarnation, which form of the Lord comes in so many different incarnations as Lord Narsimha and so on, Lord Varahadev. But his absolute most pleasing mood for him is when he is tending the cows in Goloka Vrindavana. So Krishna is in his most relaxed and his most natural form when he is in Goloka Vrindavana. Now, there is one particular temple. In fact, if the Lord willing, I may be visiting the temple next week. So there is a very popular temple. You go to that particular temple, everybody is chanting Krishna's name as the protector of cows. They call him Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Which temple is that?
TTD
Tirumala. Tirumala.
Tirupati.
Tirumala. So we have gone to, most of us would have gone to Tirumala, Tirupati. Now you see Tirumala is, our Tirupati Lord Govinda there. He is four-armed Vishnu, right? He is in his four-armed form, Shankha Chakra Gada, and he is very tall, very handsome, and he's a fully grown man, isn't it? But we refer to him as Balaji. And everybody is chanting, Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Where are the cows? There is no cow standing behind Balaji, right? And we are calling him Balaji. Balaji means small baby. So he's fully grown. Mahavishnu is standing there as Mahavishnu. But we are calling him Balaji, Balaji. Oh, what is the secret behind this? Why are we calling him Govinda? Why are we calling him? Because this is the most pleasing pastime for even Srinivasa Govinda of Tirumala. He wants to remember himself as Krishna in Goloka Vrindavana. And he wants to remember his pastimes as baby Krishna. That is why we call him Balaji. So when we chant Balaji, he becomes very, very pleased with that. Right? The same goes with devotees also. When you're many times we are chanting, just like say our Hanumanji. Hanumanji has so many names. Anjaneya, Hanuman. He has so many names. But you know what is his most pleasing name? Most pleasing name for Hanumanji is Ramaduta Hanuman. So when you go to a Hanuman temple and you call him, hey Ramaduta Hanuman, immediately you get his attention. Otherwise, he is very glorious, power, Pavan Putra, this, that, he has done glorious. The moment you call him Ramaduta Hanuman, whoop, you get his attention. Similarly, Balaji also, you refer to him by something that he misses and he is most pleased by. We call him Govinda, we call him Balaji, then you get his attention immediately. That is why the devotees, many of them don't know why they're chanting it, but they continue to chant Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. All right. So the next time you go to Tirupati, when you are chanting Govinda, Govinda, remember this is why we are doing it. Okay. So this is Krishna. So this is one of the secrets that Krishna and Balram in their pastimes, they are in their natural best in Goloka Vrindavana. In fact, the spiritual world itself is called Goloka, the land of cows. That is why cows are so dear to Krishna. That is why in our Sanatana Dharma, it is considered a sin anyway, we don't want to talk about all of that, the kind of things that are happening to cows in the modern world. So whatever it is, we leave that for another discussion, very painful thoughts. But then Krishna is very dear to the cows and the cows are very dear to Krishna. Okay, so he always wants to be surrounded by cows. There's so many pastimes of Krishna and the cows. Maybe when sometime during this year, during the Diwali period, when we have Govardhana pastimes. At that time, we'll tell you more about cows. In fact, Govardhana is also named after cows because cows are enriched. Cows become very joyful when they feed on grass growing on Govardhan hill. That is why he's also Govardhana, one who enriches the cows. Right? So cows everywhere. All right. So this is Krishna Balram, and this is their mood in Vrindavan, and this is their natural best. So when Krishna is taken away, when Krishna steps away from Goloka Vrindavana, from Vrindavana, he begins to miss his pastimes here. Okay, so Krishna does not miss his pastimes when he goes to some other place. Oh, I'm so far away from Kurukshetra. Oh, I'm so far away from Hastinapura. Krishna doesn't miss all of that. He goes there and he engages with devotees and he has various pastimes. He has to teach. He has to do so many things. He does all of that. But if he steps out of Goloka Vrindavan or steps out of Vrindavan pastimes, or Gokula, known by many names, then Krishna also begins to miss that because he is at complete leisure. He is completely himself in Goloka, in Vrindavana. Okay. These are Lord Krishna's pastimes recollected by the gopis. Anybody would like to read?
Prabhuji, can I read?
Sure.
Lord Krishna's pastimes recollected by gopis. O greatest of personalities, you have repeatedly saved us from all kinds of danger, from poison water, from the terrible man-eater Aga, from the great rains, from the wind demon, from the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, from the bull of demon, and from the son of Maya Danava. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So the gopis are constantly thinking of Krishna and the various pastimes that the Lord has exhibited. We can see in this particular image how all the Gopa boys are here and they're surrounding Krishna. And Krishna is Balaramji is Krishna's greatest devotee, but Krishna is considering him as an elder brother and massaging his lotus feet here. He's saying, no, 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 I'll not let you. But sometimes Balaramji wins in convincing Krishna, and when Krishna is fast asleep in the forest, on the green, soft grass, he also comes and massages Krishna's lotus feet. So there are wonderful pastimes like this. Srimad Bhagavatam elaborates on the various pastimes of the Gopa boys. Sometimes Krishna and Balaram, they wrestle with the other Gopa boys, and they have a wrestling match. And guess who wins? The Gopa boys. So they defeat Krishna also, right? So many times Krishna allows them that the Gopa boys are able to defeat Jagatpati, the maintainer of the entire cosmos, is defeated by his devotees in a wrestling match. Okay, the killer of all the demons, the most mightiest demons, are defeated by his friends, the Gopa boys, in wrestling matches. Okay, so these are some wonderful, wonderful pastimes of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. So the gopis miss Krishna, seeing Krishna there. And you see, Krishna is in a very, the clothes he wears, he's got simple jewelry, he's got forest flowers as his garland, he wears a silk dhoti, and he's More Mukut, he's called More Mukut. He's got a peacock feather as his mukuta. So he's wearing very simple clothes, and he does not have very expensive clothes here like the kings would wear. He still wears silk and all that. Silk was very common those days, and his mother would very lovingly, uh, decorate him with silk robes and jewelry. But it was not like the the kingly princes would wear. But it so happened that uh, after a certain point, Krishna had to go to Mathura because there were demons. Again and again, demons were coming, and Krishna was killing all of them. But then it had become a little too much. And Kamsa knew that I will not be able to do anything to them in Vrindavan. So let me invite them here to Mathura, my kingdom, and I will bring them to my playing area, and here I will kill them both. So he sends one of his ministers who also has a good relationship in Vrindavan with the Vrajavasis. So anybody knows who this person is?
Akrura.
Akrura.
Akrura. Right. So Akrura,
Akrura.
sometimes people may hear that name and think it's a very fearful name or something, but it's quite the opposite of it. Krura means someone who is very cruel. Akrura means someone who is not cruel, who's very soft-hearted. So this was Akrura, and Akrura, he requests Krishna and Balram. It's a long pastime, but long story short, he requests Krishna Balram that Kamsa is calling you, and I will have to take you there. So both Krishna and Balram get onto the chariot and they go along with Akrura. And you can see all the gopis are running behind the Ratha. They're chasing. And it is said that some of them even cursed Akrura for this great disservice of taking Krishna away from them. And they were all heartbroken. And we can see Radharani here has collapsed. She's fainting. Many of the gopis fainted, and they were crying and they were weeping and they were telling Krishna, and Krishna was only assuring them. In fact, Krishna also was so heartbroken just by looking at all the gopis. He was heartbroken. And we can see Balaram here. Balaram is assuring Krishna. He's trying to comfort Krishna there by holding him. And Krishna is heartbroken by looking at all the gopis and what is happening to them. And Krishna is raising his hand and he's assuring them that, don't worry, I will come back. I will come back to see all of you. Krishna makes this promise. Of course, Krishna doesn't say when and how, but this is when Akrura takes him away. And Akrura is also in tears. Akrura is also heartbroken because he had to do such a great disservice. But what to do? Sometimes we have to do services which may not be pleasing to other devotees, but it has to be done anyway, right? So this was a great sacrifice on the part of Akrura also. Anyway, so it so happens that Akrura was also so worried that what is going to happen to my Krishna Balram? What if Kamsa actually harms them? So to assure Krura, somewhere in between Krishna and Balram, all of you would have heard this pastime. Krishna and Balram, they say that, look, it's time for Sandhya Vandana. So top next to the Yamuna river and we want to take a dip there, we take bath. By then, they had gone away from Vrindavan, outside of Vrindavan. So they take a dip in Yamuna, and Akrura also takes a dip. But then when he takes a dip, he sees that Mahavishnu and Ananta, both of them are there underwater, and they both look like Krishna and Balram. So he steps out of the water and he looks and he sees that Krishna and Balram are on the chariot. Then he dips again and he sees that Narayana and Anantadeva are there. And then he's really mesmerized. Why did the Lord do this? The Lord did that to assure him that, hey, don't worry. We may look like young boys, but we have it under control. So don't worry too much about Kamsa. We will manage him. Okay, but anyway, he's a devotee. And just like Mother Yashoda, despite being the mother of the Supreme Lord, she's constantly worried about Krishna. Similarly, Akrura also, despite knowing this truth, this is the mood of a Vaishnava, of a devotee, that he was constantly worried about Krishna and Balram, and he was making his own small army, a mutiny within Kamsa's army, that if Kamsa tries to attack Krishna and Balram, he had his own loyalists, that if something like this happens, my troop of soldiers will attack Kamsa immediately, and I will stand right next to Kamsa. I will kill him if he tries to harm Krishna and Balram. So he was making his own plans, right? Though he knows that Krishna and Balram are the Supreme Lord. But that is the heart of a devotee. Okay, so these are all wonderful devotees. Now Krishna and Balram goes to Mathura and the entire pastime happens there. But then now Krishna, you see, um, now the secret that we were talking about in terms of Ratha Yatra is that the mood. We've spoken a little about the unlimited glories of Vrindavan. We cannot, in many lifetimes of speaking and hearing, we will not be able to complete glorifying Vrindavan because we may not understand it in its entirety also. It is said that Lord Anantadeva, on whom Mahavishnu sleeps, is constantly chanting the glories of Vaikuntha and Goloka from his unlimited number of mouths. And he himself has not completed glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. So you and I have just one mouth and you have just 2 ears. There is hardly anything that we can speak. But with our limited capacity and potency, there's a little that we can share and understand here. So we have understood the mood of Vrindavan, which is a mood of separation. Okay, so they all live in separation. Why separation? Viraha bhava. Now, why this separation happens is because now think of our in the material world itself. Think of our relationships with people we love. If someone is always with us, uh, we love them. Our children or spouse or whatever. So they're there and we love them and we care for them and we tend to them. But then if they go away and they're far away in a distant place, maybe for a day or two we may be okay, but after that we start missing them, and our intensity of love increases. Right? So this happens in the material world also. The same thing happens in the spiritual world also. So when there is love in separation, it's supposed to be the most intense form, most intense form. That is why in the Shikshashtakam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahe name. So Shunyaitam jagat sarvam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this entire jagat, this entire universe is shunya, is zero for me. Shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. But with my separation, because of separation from Govinda, nothing makes sense. Nothing, everything is useless to me. Everything is a big zero to me. It can be the greatest of wealth. It can be the beauty of the sun and the moon and the cosmos, everything. The most greatest of devatas, everybody is here. But Govinda Viraha, when I'm separated from Govinda right now, and this entire universe is nothing but a big zero for me. That is the ultimate spirit, the ultimate mood of a devotee. And that is the same mood of Krishna also. The moment he is separated from his devotees, nothing pleases him. Nothing at all. That is why even in this world, when we are offering something to Krishna, Krishna is not interested in the gulab jamuns and the rasgullas and whatnot we may offer. But he will accept it only if there is tulsi on it, because tulsi is his pure devotee. If tulsi is not there, he will not accept it. When we are chanting prayers to Krishna, we start with Guru Pranama mantra. Why do we do that? Om Ajnana Timirandasya. We pray to the Guru because without Guru, Krishna is not reachable. We cannot reach him, right? So Krishna they become a via media. When Vibhishana goes to meet Lord Ramachandra, he goes through Hanumanji. He doesn't go directly. And everybody rejects him. They say, hey, you're a demon. Why are you coming here? You're from Ravana's army. So he was rejected by the other Vanaras. But it was Hanumanji who said that I assure you, he is with me. And he goes to Lord Ramachandra and assures Lord Ramachandra that I have. So Lord Ramachandra doesn't even have to let Hanuman finish his sentence. He says, Hanuman, you don't have to give me any explanation. If you have bought him, then I trust him completely. That is the power of approaching a pure devotee. When we pray to Lord Narsimha, we don't say, oh Lord Narsimha. We say Prahlada Narsimha. We say Lakshmi Narsimha. Through Lakshmi, we go to Narsimha. Through Prahlada, we go to Narsimha. That is the process. So the Vaishnava never approaches Krishna directly. We go through the spiritual master. When we are reading the Bhagavad Gita, we go through the Guru Parampara, through Arjuna. Arjuna, you have understood the Bhagavad Gita. Please bless me so that we may also understand it. Okay, that is the mood. So Krishna also feels separation from his devotees. So in this way, Krishna goes to Mathura. Now you see the mood in Mathura, and later from Mathura, Krishna goes to Dwaraka. Now, Krishna is the same Krishna in Mathura also, same Krishna in Dwaraka also. But Mathura, Dwaraka is completely Aishwarya Bhava. Aishwarya means opulence. He's a king there. He's a big prince in Mathura with opulence and big palaces and the most expensive gems and jewelry and aristocratic lifestyle. And the people around him also, even his devotees, the 16,108 wives of Krishna, they are also very aristocratic, coming from very high families. They're not simple village girls from Vrindavan. So they're very aristocratic. And now in Mathura, it is not as aristocratic as Dwaraka, but it is Aishwarya Mishra Bhakti. There is also Aishwarya is there. So it is called Aishwarya Mishra Bhakti. It is mixed with Aishwarya there. So it's simpler than Dwaraka, but still it is opulent. So Krishna is also wearing opulent clothes there, and Krishna is walking, and there are also lots of devotees there in Mathura. But it is not the same mood as Vrindavan. So as soon as he goes to Mathura also, Krishna has so many duties to perform there, including killing Kamsa, but Krishna misses Mathura. But later, after the whole episode of Kamsa, he has to go to his Gurukul. He studies in the Gurukul with Sandipani Muni. And then later, duty calls. So he has to go to Dwaraka to protect the Mathura Vasis because they are attacked by Jarasandha. So he has to immediately move them from Mathura to Dwaraka. And, so he sets up his kingdom there. So in this way, Krishna is always busy. And now Dwaraka is set up. After that, the whole episode of Hastinapura starts off with the Pandavas. So Krishna has to go and protect the Pandavas there. He has to protect Draupadi, and the entire Mahabharata episode. Everything happens there. But in the midst of all this, Krishna is constantly thinking of the gopis, constantly thinking of the Gopa boys. He's constantly thinking of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. He's thinking of all the Vrajavasis, and Krishna often misses them. And you see, the gopis, one may wonder, why didn't they come to Mathura? You see, Mathura is not very far away. If any of you have traveled to Vrindavan and Mathura, even a cycle rickshaw, a couple of kilometers, you can take an auto also and come from Mathura to Vrindavan. So it's not very far away. Then why didn't the gopis go there to meet Krishna, since it's not very far away? It's because of what I just explained. The mood is completely different, right? The mood is of Aishwarya Mishra. And the gopis don't like to see Krishna in Aishwarya Bhava. They don't like to see him as a prince. They want to see him as a simple cowherd boy. That's the mood that they want to see him in. So that is why they did not go to Mathura, because they cannot see Krishna in that particular way. And if they cannot see Krishna in that way in Mathura, why will they come to Dwaraka to ever see him there? Because there he is extremely aristocratic. So they would never go to Dwaraka also. Okay, but let's not misunderstand the devotees of Dwarka or Mathura. They are also extremely glorious. We're only talking about the mood of Vrindavan here. So However, when the Ratha Yatra happens, Krishna finally meets the gopis, and the gopis finally meet Krishna. But this neither happens in Vrindavan, nor in Mathura, nor in Dwaraka. Where does this happen?
Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra. Now, why did the gopis then, who don't go to Mathura or Dwaraka, why did they go to Kurukshetra? They go to Kurukshetra because Kurukshetra is kind of a neutral ground. Okay, so Kurukshetra is a neutral ground where there is neither the mood of Dwaraka nor the mood of Mathura, right? So, because these mixed moods are not there, so the gopis said, let's go. Now they had to have a reason to go there. And the reason was an eclipse, the solar eclipse that was happening. And it was also a solar eclipse. So it is a Amavasya also. Incidentally, today is also an Amavasya. Okay. And usually Amavasya is considered as, according to astrology and so on, it is considered as inauspicious. But for devotees who are glorifying Krishna, like all of us are right now, even Amavasya becomes very glorious for us. So on this dark night of Amavasya, we are glorifying Krishna. So on a similar Amavasya night, but it is also a solar eclipse. During a solar eclipse, devotees gather and they take bath in a sarobara, in a holy spot, to cleanse themselves after the eclipse. Right. So it was a holy gathering at Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra, like the Bhagavad Gita explains, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Right. So it was a Dharma Kshetra. It was a very holy place. So everybody gathered there, and they took bath in a holy pond in a sarovara. So once they took bath there, then Krishna pretends to fall sick. Okay, so Krishna pretends to fall sick, one with the spiritual body who doesn't know what disease is. He pretends to fall sick so that he can get everybody's attention and he can give services to all his devotees. So everybody's wondering, Are, Krishna's got fever, Krishna's got a cold, we need to take care of him. So people are crushing herbs and they're doing all kinds of things to serve Krishna in this particular way. So, after that, Krishna becomes, once again, Krishna, Balaram, Subhadra, their fever and their cold goes away. This is the same thing that happens even today. It is celebrated the same way in our Jagannath Puri and around the world, that the Snana Yatra is performed, and after the Snana Yatra, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, they fall ill, like you may have heard in the previous days' pastimes. So herbs are given to them, and once they wake up, then it becomes the Lord's desire to do a brahmana, to roam around to various places. So during this time, all the devotees pull the Ratha. So where did this pulling the Ratha come from? This pulling the Ratha comes from the Kurukshetra episode, where the gopis are pulling the chariot of Krishna back to Goloka, back to Vrindavana. They're saying, what are you doing here? You are now neither in Dwaraka, you are neither in Mathura. Why don't you just come with us? So they're trying to pull Krishna. And Krishna doesn't like it if someone takes him away from Vrindavan. But it is most pleasing for Krishna when somebody is taking him back to Vrindavan. So Krishna is at his happiest, most joyful mood here. And like you have heard before, Krishna goes into the mood of ecstasy. And that's how the form of Jagannatha, Baladeva, and Subhadra, with their wide eyes, they take this particular form. They melt, they physically melt, looking at the intense love of the gopis. That because Krishna, you see, is a rini. He's a debtor in the hearts of his in the hands of his devotees. What is the debt? You see, because for Krishna, he has so many devotees. Krishna's love is divided in Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwaraka, and all over the world. In Hastinapura, the Pandavas are there. Draupadi is there. There, Kunti Maharani is praying to Krishna that, oh, Krishna, please don't leave me and go. So Krishna's love is divided everywhere. But for the gopis, it is only Krishna. For the devotee, it is only Krishna. So Krishna, not just the devotees of Vrindavan, also the devotees of Mathura and Dwaraka or Hastinapura, the Pandavas, Krishna is indebted to all of them because Krishna cannot give them the kind of attention that they give to Krishna. So Krishna is always in debt. So he becomes a rini. That is why we new sadhakas who are practicing Krishna consciousness now, who have started chanting, started remembering Krishna. Instead of approaching directly Krishna, we approach the devotees of Krishna. We pray to. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "What is our position?" He says, "Gopi Bhartur Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Dasanudasaha." He says, Naham Vipro, Nacha Narapatir, Napi Vaishyon na Shudro. He says, I am not a Vipra, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra. Then what am I? What is my position? I'm Gopi Bhartur Pada Kamalayor, Dasa Dasa Dasanudasa. I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis. I am that. I'm not even directly the servant of the gopis. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis. This is the mood. We don't try to. So why? Because if the gopis approve, they feel that, okay, this devotee is chanting well, this devotee is doing services well. And if they tell Krishna, Krishna, I think you should take them back. Krishna will have no arguments. Otherwise, you approach Krishna directly. Like we go to many temples, we can go to Tirupati. You see Tirupati Balaji, his hands. You go to our Kanchipuram, right? So he says, first you surrender to me, and then I will think about giving you liberation. Right? First is surrender, fall to my lotus feet. That is Krishna's mode. He is very strict. But if you go through the Vaishnavas, then Krishna becomes very soft. Krishna says, okay, whoever you want, I will approve it. That person may be most disqualified, but Krishna will approve. That is the power of being not a Krishna Dasa, but a Vaishnava Dasa, or a servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis, or any of the Vaishnavas for that matter. Right? So that is the process. So this is the great secret of the mood in exhibited, the mood of Vrindavana that is exhibited in Kurukshetra, and the same mood is now exhibited in Jagannath Puri, where Krishna is dragged. So by pulling the chariot, we are also assisting the gopis. This is the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I am not pulling. Who am I to pull Krishna? I am myself pulled by the whips of Maya, by the ropes of Maya. How can I pull Krishna? But the gopis are pulling Krishna, so I will assist the gopis in trying to pull the chariot. So in this way, we are showing our position as the servant of the gopis. And uh, so this is an exalted position of the gopis. It is so unfortunate that sometimes in the movies or some serials or something, they may show Krishna and the gopis in such a derogatory manner. Sometimes they create certain songs of Radha and Krishna, and they will make some, Bollywood songs or some movie songs out of it. So derogatory, and it's heartbreaking for a Vaishnava to even imagine something like that. That they don't understand what the position of the gopis are, and they just think of the gopis as some ordinary girls, and the relationship of Krishna and the gopis to be some mundane relationship, like they themselves may have in this world. But that is why devotees, many times we hesitate to even talk about the gopis and Krishna. But anyway, all of you have read the Bhagavad Gita and you're students of the Bhagavad Gita. So we take the liberty to share a little, but there is so much more to know about them. But out of etiquette, we will not get into much more depths of it. So this is the mood of Jagannath Puri, Krishna and the gopis, how they pull the cart of to Vrindavana. Okay, so that is the mood. Now there are many uh, uh, prayers that we offer, and there are so many benefits to pulling the cart of Jagannath. Now there are the carts of the chariots of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra are also slightly different from each other. Uh, if Lord Jagannath's chariot or cart is about 45 feet tall, Lord Balaram's chariot is about 44 feet, and Subhadra Devi is about 42, I believe, something like that, a few feet difference. And also the number of wheels. Jagannath's cart has about, I believe, has about 16 wheels, and Balaram's has about 14 wheels, and Subhadra Devi's has about 12 wheels. Jagannath's cart or chariot. Anybody knows what is the name of Jagannath's chariot called?
Nandi Ghosh.
Nandi
Yeah,
Ghosh.
Yeah.
Nandi Gosha, right. And Baladevas?
Tala.
Yeah,
Taladhwaj.
Talavan.
yeah, Taladhwaja.
Taladvaj.
And our Subhadrama is?
Devadalan.
Sorry, Prabhu?
Devadalan.
Devadalana.
Yeah, there is also one more name. Devadalana, but
Darp-
one more name.
Darpadalan.
Padmadhwaja. It is also called as Padmadhwaja. Right? So there are multiple names. So even Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadramai, their chariots are known by different names, but these are the popular names. Okay, so in this way, this is the mood of pulling the chariot. Okay, so we must remember that when we are pulling it, we should pull it in the mood of the gopis, as assisting the gopis and taking Krishna to Vrindavan, not in a mood that, hey, sometimes we do it in Ratha Yatra, no? While pulling the cart. What is this? Yeah, all they are only pulling. Go, go. And we have a elbow fight. In temples, devotees have elbow fight. Everybody is pushing each other with their elbow to make their way into the. Somehow I need to grab onto that rope and pull the rope, even if I trample 2 or 3 devotees on the way. No, that is not the mood. If we get an opportunity, we may request someone that, dear Prabhu or Mataji, can I just pull just for a few seconds? I will allow you to pull after that. So it's not a competition. Okay, so sometimes we become very ritualistic about something, and we become very competitive that, oh, why you are pulling all the time? From 10 minutes you are pulling. You didn't leave only. See that Mataji or see that Prabhu. From the beginning, Ratha is not even moved and they're holding the rope, not giving opportunity to us. And we get into this mood. Are, Baba, this is not the mood at all. In this is so. This is very important that we have the right mood. We may get to hold the rope, we may not get to hold the rope. But what is important is to maintain the right kind of mood. Okay, it's okay if somebody becomes competitive, this, that, they're pulling the rope, they're not giving you the rope. It's okay, Baba, no problem. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood in front of the Ratha and he danced. He did not pull the rope, but he danced. He pulled the rope sometimes, either from front or behind, either pushing or pulling. You can engage in all of that. These are some inspirational quotes from the Puranas. Does someone want to read this?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
A person who sees the Lord's Ratha Yatra car festival and then stands up to receive the Lord can purge all kinds of sinful results from his body. Brahmananda Purana. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Brahmanda Purana. So, a person who sees the Lord's Ratha Yatra car festival and then stands up to receive the Lord can purge all kinds of sinful results from his body. So, even if you're just looking at the Ratha and respectfully we stand, my Lord is coming, my Lord is here, and he's in his happiest mood on the cart. Oh, it's just so joyful to see that. So, people run behind movie stars and all that. You would have probably seen on television or something. Some movie star is going in a car. People are running behind like crazy people. This is madness. That is why this is Maya Loka. The actor or the movie star or the celebrity doesn't even care about these people. But these people are thinking they are my world, and they're running behind them. Such foolishness. But this tendency of making someone a hero and running behind their car is always there. It's an eternal one. So rather than running behind some mundane celebrity, let's run behind the true hero, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadramai, right? The true, actual heroes. Another quote, someone else wants to read?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Sure, Mataji.
Even if glories of participating in Ratha Yatra, even if born of a lowly family, a person who follows the Ratha Yatra car when the deities pass in front or from behind will surely be elevated to the position of achieving equal opulence with Vishnu.
Yeah.
Bhavishya Purana.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So even if born in a lowly family, like we don't know what is our family lineage, so many things would have happened in the past. Many times you go to the temple and we tell this is our gotra and etc., but actually speaking, the lineages would have changed, so many things here and there. We don't really know, and many of us do, most of us don't really come from any glorious background like that, coming directly from some rishis lineage or something. We're just ordinary people with ordinary backgrounds. So whoever we are, Jagannath sees no difference. even if born of a lowly family, a person who follows the Ratha Yatra car, when the deities pass in front or from behind, will surely be elevated to the position of achieving equal opulence with Vishnu, Bhavishya Purana. So equal opulence with Vishnu means these are one of the processes of, or one of the destinations of getting mukti. When you get the same form as the Supreme Lord. Okay, so same form as the Supreme Lord. Now, Swarupa. Okay, now the thing is that while these quotes are there, it is very important for us to understand there is a word called mumukshuhu. Mumukshuhu means one who is desirous of mukti, who wants mukti. But truly speaking, a devotee is not even a mumukshuhu. A devotee is not even asking for mukti. A devotee is not even asking that you take me back to Godhead. Right? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, he said that even if we are born as worms or some insects, but as long as we're able to serve Krishna, I don't mind taking birth how many ever times in any form. That is the original mood of a Vaishnava. He is not even asking for mukti. He's saying, who am I to enter the spiritual world? I'm a nobody. But the only thing, Krishna, if you can, if you are willing to give me some boon, then give me this boon that no matter how many times I'm born and wherever I'm born, even let it be hell, even if I'm born there, but let me never forget you. Let me always remember you. This is the mood of a Vaishnava. Even if I'm born as an ant or an insect, let me be born in the house of a devotee who's constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord. In fact, the ants, when we are chanting, the ants that are roaming around, they're benefited. That's the power of the holy name that can get into any dimension. It can enter any dimension. The ants normally will never hear if we just loudly shout some celebrity's name, or you're chanting Coca-Cola or something. Nobody's going to hear. The ant will not know what we're doing. But the moment we chant Krishna, it penetrates through those various dimensions. It can reach the ear of an ant too. It benefits the ant. It benefits some invisible entities that may be roaming around. It benefits them also. Okay, so everybody is benefited. That's the power of the holy name. So that should be the mood of a Vaishnava too. So now this Jagannath Rath Yatra is about, it's going on for a very long time. At least historically speaking, it is traced back to about 2000 years. But it's actually much more than that also. But it's traced back historically as much as we can chronologically count. It goes back to around 2000 years. And it has been limited to Sri Kshetra Jagannath Puri. And it doesn't really happen anywhere else, or it did not happen anywhere else until Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, and all of you have heard many pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. And when Srila Prabhupada, who is the 10th generation Acharya in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he traveled to the West at the advanced age of 70, in the year 1966, he established the Hare Krishna movement, popularly known as the Hare Krishna movement, and also known as ISKCON. When Srila Prabhupada did that, and remember that Srila Prabhupada did the entire thing was done in a span of 10 to 11 years, anywhere between 10 to 11 years. So in this short span of time, it's unbelievable, unbelievable that he was able to establish 108 temples worldwide. And he authored about 70 books, traveled the globe 14 times. In my nature of work that I do, I have to do some amount of traveling. And even at my age, I get exhausted. There's so much of fatigue and all of that creeps in after a few days of travel here and there. If I have to go to the airport and go from one place to the other, I feel exhausted after some time. And after 2-3 days of travel, I just feel enough. I just want to go back home and take a break and relax for some time. But I can't even imagine that the age of 70 and till the age of 80, Srila Prabhupada just kept flying from one place to the other, and he traveled the entire globe. He went all over the world. And not once or twice, he did that 14 times. Not because he wanted to do a world tour. He was very happy. In fact, he was Just like Krishna is heartbroken to leave Vrindavan, he was also heartbroken to leave Vrindavan. And he could have joyfully just stayed in Vrindavan the last few years, but he wanted to give bhakti to everybody. And his spiritual master wanted that Krishna consciousness spread everywhere. In fact, this was the prediction of Lord Chaitanya, that Prithvi te ache nagaradi gram sarvatra hoibe murana, that in every town and village, my names will spread. The holy names will spread everywhere. Prithvi te ache nagara adi gram. So in Nagara and Grama also, in towns and villages everywhere. But you know what the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada said? They said that the other, disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they all said that, yeah, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said the entire world, I don't think it's the entire world. He probably just meant Bharata Varsha. In India we can do it, but I mean, can you even imagine a German or an American chanting? It's just impossible. That why will they even chant? They are mlechas, they are so fallen, they will never be able to do it. So I think when Mahaprabhu said Prithvi te ache, he meant Bharata Varsha. So that is the meaning. So they all settled, but not Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction was Prithvi te ache. And how can I just say it should be only in India? It should happen. I may fail, just like Garuda in his attempt to save Sita Devi failed in his flight, but he was still glorious. He's still a glorious devotee, even though he may not be successful. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada said, I may become like Garuda. I may fail, but I must fail trying. I cannot just sit here and be comfortable. So that's why he traveled the world. And he took so much of stress while doing that, but he did so. But one of the things, apart from the various things that he established, was introducing the Ratha Yatra in the West. It was unbelievable how it happened. A little bit of history is this is Srila Prabhupada as a child. When Srila Prabhupada used to, as a child, once he wanted to have his own Jagannath Rath Yatra, uninspired by anybody else. He was self-inspired in his heart. He wanted to have a Ratha. When he heard the pastimes of Jagannath Puri as a small boy, he wanted to have his own cart and have Rath Yatra in Kolkata. And at that time, his father took him to a carpenter and they said, okay, we can make a Ratha, but it's going to be very expensive. And they did not have that kind of money. So his father said, it's going to be very expensive. I don't think I can do it. So Srila Prabhupada, as a child, his name was Abhay. So little Abhay, when he was walking, he had tears in his eyes. He could understand his father's situation, but at the same time, he really wanted a cart for Jagannath, and he was weeping. And just then, an old lady comes and she says, "Why is the little child crying?" And his father says, "No, he's asking for a cart, Jagannath's cart, but I'm unable to buy it for him." So she says, "Hey, look, I have a cart. You can take it from me." So she takes takes them home, and this old lady shows him a cart, and this cart is a little old, but it's repairable. It's still in a workable condition. So they attach, like you see in this image, they attach two horses in front, and they repaint it, and they decorate it in such a way very beautifully. And now little Abhay has a cart. And even at such a young age, just like Prahlad Maharaj, who was constantly thinking of Vishnu, Srila Prabhupada also was constantly thinking about Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada celebrated a 8-day Rath Yatra, 8 days of Rath Yatra around the streets. And many children and even adults eventually joined. First, they thought children are playing, but it was so beautiful, the kirtan, that everybody joined. And Srila Prabhupada at that very young age was able to engage all the people there at that time in Kolkata, in that particular area, in the art festival, which was even unheard of there in Kolkata for them, right? So Srila Prabhupada was always very enthusiastic about uh, uh, the Rath Yatra. But now Srila Prabhupada has gone to the West. He's at an advanced age. And he was thinking in his heart that, will Jagannath ever come here? I'm here, I'm preaching, I'm doing what I can. But why will the Lord come all the way from Jagannath Puri? Why will he come here to this fallen place like America? So just then, there were many disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And there was one Mataji, one disciple, a young girl. Uh, Her name is Malati Devi Dasi. So this Mataji, she was in, one of, like in India, you have these Tibetan stores where they sell all the Tibetan stuff and all that. So like that in America, you have these Mexican stores where they sell some Mexican stuff and all of that, some colorful things. So she was just walking around in that place, and she is a very new devotee and she doesn't know anything about Jagannath. But she saw these little images that looked very colorful, has a face, but is it really a face? She couldn't understand anything. It was the first time you see Jagannath. You don't know what it is. So she picked up these uh, one Jagannath. She did not know it was Jagannath. She thought, okay, it just looks cute. So remember those days. Now we are all used to smileys and all that on WhatsApp and this and that. But those days they did not have that conception. But she found it very attractive. In fact, she did not have any money in her pocket. But whatever little money she had, she bargained with the shopkeeper and she said, I really want this. So it was very little. Okay, fits in her fist, and she carried and she bought it, and then she just gave it to one of the devotees. She said that, look, there's this colorful thing that I got, really colorful. And I don't know, you can keep it anywhere in the showcase, looks cute. So one of the sannyasis went and showed it to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada said, this is not a showpiece. This is my Lord. This is Lord Jagannath himself. Where did he get it? Where did you get Jagannath from? They said Malati bought, and Malati was already in the kitchen and she was cooking. Prabhupada said, bring Malati over. And Malati, she comes running, and she carries Jagannath in her hand, and she shows it to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada pays his obeisances. And he says, this is my Lord. This is Krishna himself. And he has come now. Where did you find him? And she was so scared and she didn't know what she has done. She said, I went to the store and I found Jagannath there. I found this. So Prabhupada said, are there two more? She said, yeah, there are many more colorful things there. No, no, no. Just like him, but different. She said, yeah, there was another pair, one in white and one in yellow. Prabhupada said, yes, go immediately and bring them here. So she runs and she immediately brings the other two. So now Jagannath is there, Baladev is there, and Subhadrama is also there. And Prabhupada keeps all three of them and he pays obeisances, he performs arati. And now this Malati Mataji, her husband was Shamasundar Prabhu, who was a sculptor, incidentally. Okay, he was a sculptor. And, just like a glorious sculptor sculpted Jagannath in Puri, just like that, this sculptor, Prabhupada said, you know how to sculpt, right? He says, yes, Prabhupada. Look at these images and make me Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra, large sized, about 4 feet in height. Make them that way for me. So he said, absolutely. And he got onto it immediately. And remember, all of these are American disciples of Prabhupada. This is how instructed Shamasundara to carve 3-foot high replicas of Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. So these were the first Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra of who appeared in America. And in July 9th, 1967, in San Francisco, was the first international Rath Yatra that ever happened. And there were more than 10,000 people. It was unheard of. These are all Americans, and the Americans have no clue what is going on. But they couldn't help themselves but follow the Ratha. And they were all following the Ratha. And initially they made this, please remember, these are devotees who have never even seen a Jagannath Ratha before. But look how beautifully they've made a Ratha. Just by listening to the verbal instructions of Srila Prabhupada, they made a big canopy and all of that, and they attached it to a truck, and they started gradually pulling it. They made a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in front. And so this was a glorious in 1967 in San Francisco. But later, this Ratha also had some issues, it was like breaking down and this and that. So it was not structured properly. It needed a good engineer to do it. And that's when a fantastic Vaishnava, a pure devotee. This devotee's name is Jayananda Prabhu. This Jayananda Prabhu, he comes and he joins ISKCON and as a brahmachari. And this Jayananda Prabhu, I'll tell you about him. He's just so fascinating. And this Jayananda Prabhu, who is well educated, and he joins the movement, and he takes initiation from Srila Prabhupada, and then he starts serving Prabhupada. And he's so fascinated by the Ratha, just like the devotees are fascinated by, like Srila Prabhupada was fascinated by Ratha Yatra, he was also very fascinated. And he told Srila Prabhupada, I will make a Ratha. But you see, what happens in San Francisco is because of all the cables and all that, sometimes just like in our cities, moving around a large cart becomes very difficult. So he says, I will engineer a cart that can go up and down, so I can do that. But it has to be a very nice, robust cart that will not break down. Like in 1967, the Rathas sort of had issues breaking down and all that. Particularly when they're going on up roads, they were having issues. Many times the Ratha would just stop and not move. All that happened. So he wanted to make sure that nothing embarrassing like that happens. So he got on to making one of the glorious Rathas, and he was popular for that. And he started engineering some very, very beautiful Rathas, which are very robust, high quality, top class Rathas he would make, just like what they would do in Jagannath Puri. So he started making these Rathas, and he served as a senior devotee there, eventually became a temple president and, a senior Vaishnava. But he never ever seeked attention at all. In fact, there were so many disciples who were always surrounding Srila Prabhupada, but Jayananda, despite doing some glorious services, was never to be seen. Prabhupada was looking for him. And Prabhupada would often ask, hey, where is this Jayananda? Call him. And Jayananda Prabhu would come only if Srila Prabhupada called him. Otherwise, he would be somewhere, quietly doing his service. So he was too busy for getting attention or anything, too busy to get depressed in life, too busy to get disappointed in life, because he was always busy serving Krishna. Apart from the Ratha Yatra, he was also a great devotee of prasadam. So he was also a wonderful cook, and he would engage devotees in building the Ratha. At the same time, to encourage them, he would prepare some wonderful halwas and wonderful prasadam, and he was always carrying prasadam. Whenever you approach Jayananda Prabhu, he would always have prasadam, and he's not an ordinary devotee of prasadam. It is said that sometimes when we are carrying prasadam, if something falls on the ground, we don't, array prasadam. We may pick it up and put it aside, but you don't put it in your mouth. But if some prasadam falls on the floor, Jayananda Prabhu would not see any difference between prasadam and Jagannath himself. He would go down on all fours, pay obeisances, and pick up that prasadam and put it in his mouth, because he saw that prasadam as Krishna himself. That is Jayananda Prabhu. So this Jayananda Prabhu was so glorious, he would hardly sleep. He slept for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours in the night, uh, and he would wake up early every day. He would make sure he wakes up at before 4 o'clock, attend Mangalarati. He was always very enthusiastic. And if any devotee is feeling down, when they feel that their enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness has gone down, then they would send them to Jayananda Prabhu. So there was one devotee who said that, I don't see my place here. I just want to leave and go back to my usual life. I don't know if I'm talked out to be a devotee. So he had that mood. So Jayananda Prabhu said, okay, if you have decided to leave and go, um, sure, you have your free will, do that. But can you stay with me for a couple of weeks while we're building the Ratha? And the devotee would agree, yeah, okay, I can stay for another 2 weeks and attend the Rath Yatra with you, and then I'll go. During those 2 weeks, he would give him so much association and feed him wonderful prasad from his own hands, that in that 2 weeks there would be a complete transformation in that devotee's heart, and all the moroseness, internal moroseness that he has, the depression that he has, would just vanish in the association of this bright young devotee. In fact, Srila Prabhupada would write many letters, and he would glorify Jayananda Prabhu. Unfortunately for all of us, Jayananda Prabhu, he gets leukemia, cancer. And this was in 1977, just before Srila Prabhupada left. Jayananda Prabhu also leaves this body. He leaves his body before Prabhupada. Prabhupada left in 1977. So Jayananda Prabhu leaves a few months before Srila Prabhupada. And but his body had become, there were these little blobs that were growing in his body, and he was getting treatment done at that particular point, a little bit of herbal treatments that were happening in Mexico and all that. But some people had given him a certain amount of money, a lump sum amount of money for his own treatment. But he was, you see, for us to truly, Srila Prabhupada says this once, that a devotee has many qualities to become a pure devotee of the Lord, many qualities. But one of those qualities is that a devotee is mad. You have to be crazy to go back to Vaikuntha. That is one of the qualities. And that craziness was shown by our Jayananda Prabhu. And this Jayananda Prabhu, even the money that he had uh, for uh, for this Rath Yatra, he would for his own treatment, he would engage that in building the Ratha. Jayananda Prabhu was so sweet that he would go to absolute strangers in these big fruit marts and fruit markets and vegetable markets. He would just ask, "Hey, Rath Yatra is coming." They don't know Jagannath. These are Americans. They don't know what is Jagannath. They don't know what they're doing, what these guys are doing. But if Jayananda is there, they would say that if you are taking the fruits from us, then you must be taking it for something that's really great. So they would not charge a single dollar. They would give, truckloads for all these festivals. Truckloads of fruits and vegetables would come because they would cook for 10,000 people. So all of that Jayananda would get for free from these markets. They would give it because he's such a sweet, wonderful, enthusiastic person. They were just happy looking at him. And after the Rath Yatra, promptly he would take pies and cakes and all that for all of these people who gave donations. So he would go and give it to them also. So he was very friendly and everybody knew him. In fact, even today, in San Francisco and these places where Jayananda Prabhu served, even today the local people have a good relationship with ISKCON because of the legacy of Jayananda Prabhu. But unfortunately, in 1977, we lost Jayananda Prabhu to the terrible cancer disease. But Jayananda Prabhu, he left his body only after the Rath Yatra. Even on a wheelchair, Jayananda Prabhu would come and he would oversee the construction of the Rath Yatra. It's only in billions of years that such a Vaishnava comes. Sometimes we see in India, I've seen local Indians, who are amongst us, who say that who are these foreigners? Why do we have to show respect to these foreigners? We know Krishna better. Sometimes it is said that people who stay the closest to the railway station are the ones who miss the train. So we are certainly very close to Krishna physically in India, so many wonderful dhams. But many times we miss the train because of our own arrogance that we feel we know Krishna better than the others. But these devotees who are born somewhere else and staying so far away have shown the path of what devotion really is. So this Jayananda Prabhu, another glorious thing that this Jayananda Prabhu did. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said after his passing, when Srila Prabhupada got to know about this, Prabhupada confirmed, and remember, Prabhupada did not say this about anybody else, but Prabhupada said that Jayananda has gone straight to Vaikuntha. He is already in the spiritual world. Prabhupada was very sure of it. Prabhupada was very fond of Jayananda Prabhu, and Prabhupada confirmed that he's a pure devotee. He has attained the topmost position of a Vaishnava, and he's already in the spiritual world. Prabhupada even compared his physical looks to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this particular image when he's walking in front of the cart. Prabhupada told that he looks like Lord Chaitanya, very tall and broad shoulders and, very good looking. So, in a very loving, jovial manner, Prabhupada said that. And Jayananda, of course, was very shy and he ran away from there at that time. So this was Srila Prabhupada and Jayananda Prabhu's. In fact, it is said that this was Prabhupada's instruction that whenever there is a Rath Yatra, Jayananda Prabhu's photo is placed on that Ratha even today. So you go to any ISKCON temple, you will see that if there is a Rath Yatra, we will always have Jayananda Prabhu's because he has shown us the way. He has executed the desire of Srila Prabhupada and made this Srila Prabhupada's desire come true. So this is Jayananda Prabhu. Another wonderful thing that Jayananda Prabhu did was to introduce, this is, most of the sessions that you attend, we introduce Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So this was Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. This was his student days when he was in a uniform. He studied in a military school. So this was his day. So this Jayananda Prabhu, one day, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he was, before he, exhibited his qualities as a devotee, he met Jayananda Prabhu and he was just passing by. And Jayananda Prabhu saw him, a young devotee, and he said, what are you doing here? He says, no, I just heard about the Hare Krishna, so I just wanted to visit. So So Jayananda Prabhu said, you want to help? So he says, yeah, I want to help, whatever I can do. So he says, I want to, and he, incidentally, Jayananda Prabhu, like always, he was building a cart for Jagannath. So he says, put that nail and hold the nail while I hit the hammer. So he was holding the nail and Jayananda Prabhu hit the hammer. And exactly, in the last minute, Jayapataka Swami removed his hand and perfectly the nail went into the. I mean, this is what anybody would do, right? We all know how to hit a nail into the wall. But some simple act like this, and Jayananda Prabhu said, wow, you're really good at this. And Jayapataka Swami was saying, okay, thanks, but this is just, hitting a nail into a wood. He says, now I'm going to hold the nail and I want you to hit the hammer. I want to see if you can do it. So he held the nail and, Jayananda Prabhu hit the hammer. Jayapataka Maharaj hit the hammer and the nail went in. He says, wow, you're good with the nail and the hammer. So, he found it kind of amusing, but he said, okay, thanks. So he said, you think you can help me the next couple of weeks to build the Ratha? He said, absolutely. I'll be happy to do it. So he looked at all the wood and everything and he said, how long do you think it's going to take for us to build this Ratha? And Jayapataka Swami said, I don't know, about 2 years. So he said, okay, but we have only 2 weeks. So we'll have to do this in 2 weeks. He said, what? 2 weeks? Yeah, he said, let's get on to it right now. So they all started building the Ratha and Jayapataka Swami was part of it and he built the Ratha also. And with the spirit of having prasadam, building the Ratha and the association of Jayananda Prabhu, the inner spirit of a devotee within Jayapataka Maharaj was aroused and he became a wonderful devotee. And even today, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj being, part of the governing body commission, more than 50 years, 55 years of serving in the movement. He's a sannyasi today. And it was Jayananda Prabhu who first shaved his head and, introduced him to the devotees. And in just a span of, I think, about 2 months or so, that being introduced to Krishna consciousness, he joined the movement also. And Jayapataka Swami himself comes from a very rich family. Their family sells paint and other things, so they're coming from a very rich family. But despite that, he left all his riches and joined the movement. And he is a one of the senior most disciples of Srila Prabhupada and playing a very important role even today in the movement. Even despite his physical condition that he is going through and a lot of challenges physically, he continues uh, constantly praying to Krishna, inspiring devotees. In fact, even this very program that we're doing right now, the Gita Gyan program, was inspired by Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So he has, as of today, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj has over 60,000 disciples. And a wonderful devotee like this was a gift given by Jayananda Prabhu. What a glorious Vaishnava. So Vaishnava is a person who's able to make more Vaishnavas, more devotees. That's a quality of a Vaishnava, right? So like that. So this is Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, who continues to be part of many Rath Yatras even today. And these are some glorious Vaishnavas who are there now. So this is Rath Yatra and Rath Yatra around the world. These are some images of Rath Yatra that happens in France, Rath Yatra in London, Rath Yatra in Montreal, and Rath Yatra in Moscow, Russia. Who could ever think, right? But if you think all of these are glorious and wonderful, just put on your seat belts for the next image. Los Angeles, sorry, the next image, Pakistan. So this was, this is unbelievable. You can have it everywhere else, but think about Rath Yatra in Pakistan. You can also see many of these devotees some of them are wearing a headscarf, but some of them are wearing proper burqas, because there is so much of fear there. They're living in fear that if they are recognized, etc., etc. But there also, Jagannath made an entry, and the devotees are so courageously taking Jagannath there on the Ratha, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadramai. So if this can happen in the dangerous areas like this, I don't think any of us, you and me, have any reason to give for not attending a Jagannath Ratha Yatra. Correct? What are the reasons we have? Oh, Prabhu, too much traffic or too much this, too much that. I don't know. My leg is paining. My back is paining. Arey, come on. Just one day, isn't it? So if devotees can be so courageous and do it in places like this, In fact, I'll tell you this, in places like Australia, we talk about Pakistan, but even places like Australia, in the initial days when devotees were doing kirtan on the streets, you know what they would do? The local native Australians, they would, not native Australians, but the Australians now, they would take eggs. They would throw eggs on devotees, but devotees would continue. Today, they don't do it because they have a lot of respect for devotees. They have a lot of respect for ISKCON. But uh, today we have respect because some devotees have worked very hard back in the day. Okay, so they're doing it in Pakistan. They're doing it in so many places. So this is in our own Bangalore city, our ISKCON Sheshadripuram that we represent. ISKCON is there around the world, more than 800 centers around the world, and Ratha Yatra happens almost everywhere. And Srila Prabhupada has taken Jagannath to every place. And the first Jagannath that came to Bangalore is in our Sheshadripuram. Okay, so which started off in 1999, where we did not have a center, we did not have money, we did not have anything at that particular point, just a handful of inspired devotees, inspired by a leader, a wonderful leader, a soft-hearted devotee that I'm also very fortunate to be in touch with, Anukul Keshav Prabhu, who's our temple president. He started off this entire process, and there were other devotees also who were assisting at that time, but very small in number. They started a preaching program in Mahalakshmi temple because we did not have a center at all. And later in the year 2000, they rented a hall in Sheshadripuram. And by 2011, and they continued in this way, regularly meeting devotees and preaching, and the number of devotees started increasing, etc. And by 2011, in Bangalore, we have about 3 large temples today, and not just temples, we have many, many centers. There are so many centers also. And by 2014, purchased a land behind the rented hall. They had a rented hall. Behind that, there was some land. So they rented that hall. And by 2016, the temple construction started off, right? 2016. By 2020, shifted to the new temple. Now, remember, 2020, it was a very, very difficult time because of the financial situation was very difficult. Nobody would give donations also, obviously, because COVID-19 was going on. People were very uncertain about their financial condition. People were losing jobs. So the last priority for anybody is to give donation to a temple. And we were in the middle of a construction at that time. But somehow devotees, under the leadership of Anukul Keshav Prabhu, gathered, mustered some strength with each other, and encouraged each other, and they moved from the old rented temple to the new hall. That way we thought maybe we can even save some money on the rent, perhaps. But it was very difficult. But anyway, by the courage of these devotees, it happened. In 2022, 2 floors of the palace temple, it's known as the palace temple, 2 floors were completed. By 2024, the 3rd floor is still under construction. Okay. So the 4th floor, rooftop Satvik restaurant. This is a plan that so devotees who wish to eat in restaurants, we don't go here and there. We can have an own restaurant where prasadam, Jagannath's prasadam is served for everyone. The 3rd floor will have a temple hall. 2nd floor will have prasadam. 1st floor will have a function hall. Ground floor, function hall and Govindas, and basement for book, go down, etc. And a meeting hall will be there in the basement. This is the old center, a rented place that for many years we've all been here and we've all served in this temple. It's like a shed, small shed, and Jagannath was very joyfully staying here because Jagannath, despite all of these inconveniences, sometimes leaking roofs and all that, because devotees were enthusiastic, Jagannath was very happy. Now, this later on is the construction that is going on, and we are here in the 1st floor right now. But the plan, you see, the 2nd floor is kind of empty. Empty, 2nd and 3rd floor. So the plan is to move there. Right. So this is a computer-generated image of what we wish it would look like after the construction is complete. Okay, so all of you are welcome. Please, on Sunday, you may come and you may look at the center. It's somewhere in between this and this. It's not fully constructed, obviously, but it's not in this condition too. It's quite beautiful. When you enter the temple, you'll be able to see the Lord and you'll be able to have darshan of the Lord. But more importantly, we'll have a Rath Yatra. Okay, so you'll be able to meet all the devotees. Anukul Kesha Prabhu will also be there at that point, and we have a very senior sannyasi who's also visiting us. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj will be there. So you can have darshan of the devotees also. And of course, I'm going to be there, and your teachers, whoever you've been learning from, they're all going to be there. It's going to be a great opportunity for us to meet. Okay. So these are just some images. Yeah, this is the image of Anukul Kesha Prabhu. He's here. And there are other devotees also. So we have various programs that happen there. So I'm just, people market something. So I'm just trying to do some transcendental marketing to inspire all of you to come and attend and, visit us on Sunday, if it's possible, of course. So try and make it possible. Okay. So I don't want to take too much of your time. It's 8:30 right now. So I'm going to end this session here. And I hope that we've been able to inspire you and share a few thoughts about Jagannath. And tomorrow, I believe you're going to have another session. But this is where I'm going to end my session. So anybody, if you want to share anything, your personal thoughts, if you have any question, you may ask so, and I will attempt to answer them.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I was just listening to Prabhupada's lectures on this yatra. What is this? Jagannath Yatra, Rath Yatra.
Right.
He said for all, I mean, we were just wondering, you were telling, no, for all practical purposes, let us take it as 2000 years as the beginning of Rath Yatra. I just heard him say that let us take this beginning, I mean, let us consider the incident that happened in Kurukshetra as the beginning of the Rath Yatra.
Yeah.
So that was what touched me so much, because the gopis were in that mood to take away Krishna from what is that, Kurukshetra, directly to Vrindavan. So maybe we can even think about this Rath Yatra starting 5,000 years back.
Absolutely, absolutely. The 2000-year mark chronologically is in Jagannath Puri, but certainly the Kurukshetra Rath Yatra started off 5,000 years ago. Absolutely, and that is you're right. That is how we can see it too.
Yes, Prabhuji. I just wanted to share because that was
very nice.
Very touching and nice one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I would like all the devotees to think of Jagannath so much that Jagannath should appear in your dreams. Okay. So that is how, I mean, I've been hearing about Jagannath, and in fact, last night I was sharing with my Ardhangini that I had a dream of Jagannath, and that there is some temple, and it's covered by trees and forests and dilapidated condition, and I was trying to chop down the trees, and I was trying to find a temple, and it was I was very happy. Frankly, I did not want to wake up because that dream seemed more joyful than my wakefulness. But anyway, I had to wake up. But that was a good dream because you keep hearing so much about Jagannath. It's so wonderful. Okay. Anybody else wants to share something?
You dreamt about Rajpura, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. Because we were talking about all of that. So that dream somehow it came
only we were
mind.
listening to about Rajpura.
Rajpura temple.
So
True.
It looks as though you were there only.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Definitely after these pastimes, Jagannath remains in your mind, even if you're sleeping, in your subconscious mind, even when you get up, Prabhuji. That's for sure.
Certainly. I
and
agree.
what's the path, Prabhuji, that the Rath Yatra would be from Sheshatripuram?
Yeah, there is a map that we are going to send. So I'll make sure it's there in the poster. However, give me a second. Let me see if it was.
If it's there, I'll have a look at it. Maybe I missed it, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's right here. If you look at the screen right now, here it says ISKCON Sheshadripuram, Swastik Circle, Mantri Mall, Malleshwaram, and towards Vinayaka Circle, Gutali Circle, and back to the temple. So they've drawn a map here, Ratha route.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All right. So wonderful. Thank you so much, devotees, for giving me an opportunity to share a few thoughts about Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Mai, and Srila Prabhupada, and some wonderful Vaishnavas also. So let us all feel this separation from Jagannath. I think tomorrow also we have a class. So please be there, and let's be in the mood of separation. And let us pray that we may have darshan of Lord Jagannath and the Ratha. And let's do it in the right mood. There may be many devotees coming there. Many people will be there. But there could be some, people pulling the rope and this and that. But let's remember, we should be in the mood of the gopis. We're not there to elbow fight anyone. Even if we get an opportunity or not, we're just happy to be there and have darshan of the Lord from a distance also. Okay, so that is our mood. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much also,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Dandavat
Dandavat
Pranam.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank
Very
you.
inspiring. Very
Thank you
nice.
so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Dandavat
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna,
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much.
Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat Pranam to everybody.
Thank you. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Oh, Harini
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much. So tomorrow, Sunday, we'll meet, Prabhuji.
Sunday, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhu, can I announce something?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. So tomorrow we have a session by His Grace Radhapati Gopinath Prabhu on the wonders of serving Lord Jagannath. It's going to be a very beautiful topic. So requesting all the devotees to be present and take the wonderful association of Radhapati Gopinath Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sir, excuse me. Sir, my name is Manu Nair.
Yes.
Actually, I got link from my cousin. I
Hmm.
have one doubt. Suppose if I want to get link for tomorrow's session, how can I get the link?
Shri
Yes.
Hari Prabhu. Yeah.
Yes, I'll message my phone number. Can you note it down? I'll just put it in the group here right now.
Okay, sir. I will.
And you can just contact me in that, and I will send you out. Okay.
Okay, sir. Please, can you please say your phone number, sir?
Yeah, I just put it in the chat. Can you see?
1 minute, sir.
Yeah, in the chat you have. Chat you have.
Yes, sir. The one ending with 428.
Yes, that's mine.
Okay,
That's my
sir.
number.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhu. So should I leave, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Then
Thank
I'll
you,
end the
Prabhuji.
session too. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Thank you. Hare Krishna.